Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about V4 changes for Zenless Zone Zero. Miyabi received sassy changes, things that don't make sense. However, I will try my best to explain why I believe these changes are happening as well. But first, let's go over her previous hotfixes that I haven't mentioned in the previous video because they happened afterwards. Let's start with this one. Base AP changed from 118 to 148. This is anomaly proficiency, whatever, okay. But this one is the weird one. Core upgrade stats from 36 base anomaly proficiency into 72 base anomaly proficiency. She doesn't really benefit from anomaly proficiency at all because her damage is pretty much crit, attack, that stuff. So it's kinda whatever. But on the other hand, the anomaly mastery was much more useful because it allowed you to build that anomaly build up faster to trigger disorders or just the anomaly attribute in general. So kind of weird change. They haven't reverted this whatsoever in V4 changes. And there also has been another hotfix change where they reverted the anomaly build up nerf from her basic attack Frost Moon. So now it's back to what it used to be. That's good. However, the AP staff thingy still remains. As I said, it's weird, but there are definitely other. And there is also another change that happened prior to V4 stuff, I believe, which was her signature V engine. Now it provides more critical ice damage from 48% to 55% at one copy. However, the ice damage boost has been nerfed from 20% to 18%. It does stack 2 times. So instead of 40%, you will have 36% damage boost. I think this change with the V engine is good because you're gonna get more crit damage out of this, but it's still a V engine and not her base kit. Now let's talk about the latest, newest V4 changes for Miyabi. But before that, I would just like to remind you that a lot of you guys who watch me are not subscribed. So if you'd like to support me, feel free to subscribe, smile, and now let's continue with the video for real. And now let's talk about her current V4 changes. Core passive, Searing Cold. Now the Ice Fire debuff will last 30 seconds instead of 20. I guess it's an okay change because if you do some mistakes within your rotation or something like that, you'll still have this debuff up. This way, Miyabi will have more time to build up that Frost Anomaly build up rate on the enemy, trigger Frostbite, which would remove this Ice Fire to deal nice amount of Frostburn break damage. And let's talk about the next change. When Miyabi accumulates Frost Anomaly build up on an enemy affected by this Ice Fire debuff, which now lasts 30 seconds, the Frost Anomaly build-up rate of the attack increases by 100% of Miyabi crit rate up to 80%. And now at this point you might be wondering, did she even get nerfed? Like, what's actually going on? And yeah, we'll get to that part, okay? It's a pretty big, important part, I would say, that does matter a lot for Miyabi. As for the next thing that they have changed for her, now the Frostburn state will increase your attribute anomaly build-up rate for your entire team against that target by 20% instead of 15. This is an okay buff. Now let's talk about her additional ability. Her additional ability got significantly changed. I already mentioned this in my previous video, but I would like to elaborate a bit more in here. Now, instead of an anomaly character, she has to be played with a support character or a character that shares the same faction. By doing this, they effectively make sure you cannot play like Bernie Slighter, or if you're playing with Bernie's Miyabi, then you would have to either go with Yanagi or Lucy to make it work, because she either has to be same faction or support character. I believe the support character change has been done. Some near future support character, I wouldn't be surprised if they show up in 1.5 patch. But definitely this stuff does restrict team compositions more, because you'll have to either play with Sogagu or Lucy as a newer player who has nothing pretty much else on the account to have her additional ability. You can't go just triple anomaly anymore, unless if it's Yanagi, which would share the same faction, to make her additional ability work. Well, her basic attack, the big hitter one, got buffed by a bit, 55%. And here is the big nerf change that makes her much more dependent slash better with Yanagi, because now when any character in the party triggers the disorder effect, Miyabi will gain 2 stacks of Fallen Frost instead of 3. Do note that you want to have 6 stacks of Fallen Frost to be able to do her big hitting attack with her enhanced basic attack. It does consume up to 6 stacks of Fallen Frost, like 222. It's 6 strong stuff. Now you will be building this Fallen Frost stacks much slower without Yanagi, because Yanagi has her X special skill and ultimate, which triggers polarity disorders, which do count for this additional ability. And that's why it does make her much more dependent on Yanagi to make her stronger. But I'll talk about this more later in the video, exactly why I believe they're doing this approach. Her ultimate did receive a slight ice damage boost buff from 30% to 35. Her Mindscape 1 adding insult to injury. What an interesting name. It did receive a slight buff as well. Now the attribute anomaly build-up rate of all teammates will be increased by 20% instead of 15. As you can see overall with these changes, there are of course some buffs there, but the big nerfs are quite significant, such as her losing that anomaly mastery within her base kit for anomaly proficiency, which doesn't really make any sense. And also now disorders giving her only 2 stacks instead of 3, which in turn will take you longer to get 6 stacks of Fallen Frost if you play without Yanagi. But now you might be thinking, why would they change this additional ability requiring support and reducing the disorder stacks? Because if you think from a player perspective, a lot of new players will be coming to the game in 1.4 patch, or also returning players who will be missing out on Yanagi and will start with Miyabi. So how will this end up working? Here is my prediction from, let's say, a business perspective. I believe it's gonna turn out like this. Miyabi on release will be perfectly fine with your Piper, Sokaku, or Lucy, because the content is going to be catered for her. It's gonna work perfectly fine, easy peasy. These new players should not have any difficulties or problems. But as the content keeps scaling up in difficulty, like HP increases, anomaly build-up rates increases, and so on, then these players will be starting to look to get these S-rank upgrade options, such as a possible upcoming support character, which I wouldn't be even surprised that it's going to show in 1.5 patch, to make it easier to push through endgame content. Because do remember, a lot of players, including me, we don't have like the perfect best rotations, and having strong teammates for your character to make it easier does definitely help a lot. So that's why I believe new players will have no problems on release with Miyabi, but as the patches go on, it's going to get gradually more annoying, difficult for them, and they will be looking for that support upgrade, either ice or ether support, whatever they're gonna release. And shortly after that, a few patches later down the line, they will most likely pick that Yanagi rerun if this additional ability does not change, and that's probably gonna end up being Miyabi best in slot team, Miyabi plus Yanagi plus that insert new support character, and that's probably gonna be the quote-unquote end team, finalized team for Miyabi. And that's also one easy way for the business to make some nice money, because it will give impression to new players that it's gonna be no problem on release with just playing Miyabi, Piper, Sogago. But then the difficulty of the content starts kicking in, and that's when they will start looking into that potential Yanagi rerun whenever it's gonna happen, and slash picking up that new support. So yeah, these are my thoughts regarding this situation. If you have anything else to add or any questions, feel free to write it down in the comments below, or you can just drop by my streams and ask me there instead. I stream every single day on Twitch/YouTube. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. I also do go over honestguide besides Zenless Zone Zero, more of both content to come. So yeah, I guess this is it for real. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video.